Here we go. Buckle up. We begin with this Fox News alert. Silence from the White House as Special Counsel John Durham's report reveals just how forcefully the left pushed the Trump-Russia narrative.
And now that Mr. Durham, the special counsel's findings are out, key Democrats and some members of the media are under a microscope as they're accused of pushing a baseless narrative for years, as we now know.
Lucas Tomlinson joins us live from Washington. Lucas?
Good morning, Steve Ainsley and Brian. The White House press secretary refusing to directly answer the following questions yesterday.
What is the White House reaction to Special Counsel Durham's report on how the FBI handled the Trump-Russia probe?
I would leave it to the Department of Justice to speak to.
Does he agree with Special Counsel Durham that there needs to be wholesale changes at the FBI?
Again, that is with the Department of Justice. That's not something that I'm going to speak from the podium. As you just stated in your question, we believe in an independent Department of Justice. That's what the president said when he was running, and that's what the president has said the last 2 years. Thank you so much. I'll see you guys in Japan.
So not exactly shooting down the report. Now here's a quote from the Durham report about an aide to Adam Schiff, one of the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence staffers, that's D.C. speak for the Intel Committee, said their boss, Congressman Adam Schiff, would soon take over leadership of the committee. The researcher took the comment as a mild threat. Now, House Speaker Kevin McCarthy questioned Schiff's suitability for public office.
It really raises the question about Adam Schiff. You remember when he told the American people he had proof? Remember when he told them he didn't know the whistleblower? And what he put America through and openly lied to us? It raises a lot of questions about his character, his standing inside of Congress, or whether he should even be in Congress.
And here's former Attorney General Bill Barr on special report last night.
Source, and there are really two sources and drivers of this whole ugly episode, and that is Hillary Clinton's campaign, who launched a smear campaign that was based on getting Russian sources to spread false information about Donald Trump. And both the press and the FBI abandoned any semblance of professionalism and took up the cause with a vengeance.
Adam Schiff taking to Twitter. The Durham investigation was flawed from the start. It began for a political purpose to satisfy Trump. It resulted in 2 spectacular failures at trial and ended with nothing to show for 4 years of effort. Bottom line, FBI had a good reason to investigate. Durham didn't. It's not exactly a mea culpa, and of course, many people feel the exact opposite and think there's a clear-cut case of political bias, guys.
It sure looks like it. Hey, Lucas, so we know that Barack Obama, when he was president, was briefed by John Brennan that this whole thing was cooked up. The Russia-Trump thing was cooked up by the Hillary Clinton campaign. We don't know exactly when that was, and it is unclear whether or not Joe Biden was ever informed, right?
That's a very good point. I mean, of course, Joe Biden was Barack Obama's vice president for 8 years, and they were very close. So you'd think he knows something. Might be a good question to ask him.
Yeah, good luck trying.
Yeah, he won't answer it, though.
He's flying to Japan to get away from the press corps. All right.
Somebody will be meeting him there.
That's right. Peter Ducey's
We believe in an independent Justice Department. We've said that all along.
Right. And as long as they do what they say, they'll be very independent. All right. Thanks, Lucas.
Thank you, Lucas.
So, when it was time to give out awards for journalism over the last, maybe 4 of the last 6 years, no doubt about it, the Trump-Russia collusion story was the #1 story. And the trophies and the awards and the Pulitzers and the Edward R. Murrow trophies and awards rolled in. And I imagine big raises were handed out. An example, how about this? 10 Pulitzers awarded to the Washington Post, 10 over to the New York Times. The George Polk Awards, actually, to my LIU hands that out, granted the Washington Post, the whole staff. There's like 10 people's names there. Edward R. Murrow, 2 more granted to the Washington Post. So it was one, and also a Peabody, too, inside Putin's Russia. So that might have been a good story. I'm not sure about the last one. But somewhere along the line, it was always Trump colluding with Russia. I have a source, you have a source. Well, it turns out that all these stories should have been put in the fiction column instead of the front pages of these newspapers. And you just got to wonder, do they get to keep these prizes? Will the judges go back and say, upon further review, I'd like my blue ribbon back?
They're not going to give them back because they're going to say, they're going to put this on their resume. I want a Peabody. I want a Pulitzer. I want a George Polk Award. Or Edward R. Murrow Award. And if I remember correctly, in local news, when we were all applying for these types of things, if we had a great story. If we wanted to apply for one of these awards, you could. It was a lot of work. You would have to apply for it on your own. You'd submit your own work. And then if the board says, you win a Pulitzer, then you got that, or you've got your Emmy Award, or whatever it is.
Right.
A lot of outlets don't apply for these, but obviously New York Times does, Washington Post does. But when you get that, you can put it on your desk, or you can put it on your mantelpiece behind you. During COVID, everyone had those behind them. Then no one asks, what was that story? How did you earn the Peabody? They just say, I earned a Peabody. I got this award. They're not going to give it back.
You earn it for a great story. Ultimately, though, the story was fake.
The story was a lie.
According to Lindsey Graham, who said, you know what? It's time for them to go into their houses, go to the mantles, take the awards, send them back. Here he is.
3 things should happen. Garland should pick up the phone and call all those that were harmed by this and say, even though it didn't happen on my watch, I apologize to you. This is not the Department of Justice that I want you to believe in. I would like the FBI Director Wray to get on the phone and apologize to the people that had their lives ruined by the FBI. And I think the Pulitzer Prize given to the Washington Post and New York Times should be taken back, because the entire episode was politically motivated crap. That's not something you should get a Pulitzer Prize for.
Just to break down one example, this guy Jeff Girth, who's a critical, who writes for the Columbian Journalism Review, says, so he says, Girth noted inconsistency in the coverage. They said in October 2016, the headlines in the New York Times, investigating Donald Trump, FBI sees no clear link to Russia. All right. That's a story about alleged covert communication between Trump Organization and Kremlin-backed bank Alpha Bank. OK. Well, do you notice, and I'm sure you don't remember this because it all seems a blur, 2 months later, the intercepted Russian communications, part of inquiry into Trump associates. It prompted Peter Strzok, of all people at the time, Mr. I hate Trump and I have a plan in place in case he wins, said, listen, they texted the publication, says, there's no substance, and this story is largely wrong. The press is going to undermine it's largely wrong. Don't go with it. They went with it anyway. And this goes over and over again. The story added the FBI declined to comment. But Peter Strzok said, wait a second, I did comment. I called you. I told you it was wrong. And they wrote it anyway. And there's all these different examples of the Washington Post and New York Times running with stories, unnamed sources, and sometimes the sources, clearly Peter Strzok and Andy McCabe got in trouble once for leaking and then admitted it and apologized to everyone at the FBI. But a lot of these leaks were people with an agenda, and sometimes, in this case, one of the people at the FBI said, this is not even true, and they wrote it anyway. Think about the damage to our foreign policy, let alone the credibility. And Donald Trump, for 4 years, was told he was an illegitimate president because of stories like that.
Well, ultimately, the question is, given all that we know now that Mr. Durham's report has come out, Lindsey Graham says they should give it back. Will they? Well, the Washington Post had this statement for the Daily Mail. They say simply, the Post stands by its reporting. In other words, they are not going to give it back. Also, there's a tantalizing story in the New York Post this morning that talks a little bit about how in 2018, 2 research assistants went up to Capitol Hill and they spoke to the staffs of Adam Schiff and Jack Reed. He's the senator from the great state of Rhode Island. Okay. And apparently, the college researchers were there to brief staffers on university research contexts. It's that easy, and contracts and things like that. And instead, they go up to talk to these staffers about that, and they slide this news story about Trump and Alpha Bank under their noses and said, hey, what do you think about this? Is there anything to it? And at one point, one of the researchers felt very threatened by it because essentially the Schiff people said, we're going to be in charge soon. And so they felt like, obviously, these were people who probably had a government contract to do research through the university. That part is unclear, but that could be why they felt like if we don't do what they want, we're going to be threatened, and that's why they jerked these guys out.
That university researcher said that a Reed staffer said, quote, we are now in charge, and a Schiff staffer said that their boss would soon take over leadership. And this researcher said, this is all in the Durham report, the researcher said, I took the comment as a mild threat. And did you see the cover of the New York Post? It says, whack job, how Hillary, the FBI, and the press plotted to destroy Trump. And it has them all lurking from around the corner.
Yep.
Hillary in her detective suit.
Right at the top, you
Some
got
people in the
Comey
media, Comey, Schiff, Rachel Maddow.
and Peter Strzok.
There's two
Go on.
things. If you're a moderate undecided, you're in between, independent, you read this stuff. I mean, there's certain people who are going to dug in on both sides, but you read this stuff and make your decision. Also, Adam Schiff's running for Senate. Any opponent that wants to beat Adam Schiff, you need to bring this forward, because the only thing scarier than Adam Smith in the House is Adam Smith in the Senate.
Adam Schiff.
What do I call him?
Smith.
Oh.
You're thinking Mr. Smith goes to Washington.
Right.
No, it's Mr. Schiff.
How can you get
Adam
that wrong?
Smith, yeah, I don't
After
know.
all the nicknames, how can you get that wrong?
That is true. Adam Smith, though, is very into capitalism. In
Yeah,
historically.
it shouldn't matter what political party you vote with. It was a lie. It was a smear campaign to try to get someone in office and someone not in office, and it involved the intel community. Everyone should be appalled by this.
Sure, absolutely. And there is a question, why was Karine Jean-Pierre so reluctant to talk about this? Because it comes down to, okay, now the president is Joe Biden. Joe Biden, as Lucas just said, was the vice president during the time this was all explained to the president. How much did Joe know at the time?
Right.
And did he tell anybody?
Ironically,
did he run with it?
Their agenda in 2016 that's now been exposed is going to help Donald Trump in 2024. It actually backs up his story in a lot.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.